Okay, cool. I just realized that I haven't pulled my notes up.
Oh.
That's fine. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to Rise of Tiamat. This is exactly how this game is going to go.
Yeah, we're totally ready.
We're so
No,
ready.
it's obviously we're totally ready. So,
totally not grabbing my dice right
hey
now.
guys, thank you for joining us. This is Rise of Tiamat. This is the fifth. This is a module run out of Wizards of the Coast's 5th edition Tyranny of Dragons campaign. There are my notes. I now feel better. Okay. And yeah, that's it. It's a game about dragons, and there might be some dungeons involved, if that's your thing.
What?
If that is your thing, you should stick around and watch us. So, is there any special quick announcements that we got going on?
All the videos for Extra Life, I think, should be on their related channels. So, either Divine Intervention or Divine and Conquer. Go check those out.
One of those.
Because some were RPGs and some were the tabletop gamies. You know.
Okay. So, yeah, all the links are down below. There's a merch store. Go check it out. Len and I do this cool webcomic called Alistair that's on Webtoon that we update whenever we have a moment. Lynn, you have a thing.
It's not doing the thing till the 1st of the new year.
So you can still talk about it, because it's almost the new year.
It's almost the new year. I have a Patreon. I'm going to be making NPCs that DMs and GMs can use for their personal games or for streaming games. But it's going to be basically fully rendered character art, as well as character traits and like a background. If you want to use them, you can. But basically, you get a token and like full-blown artwork for a specific tier a month. So yeah, it's going to be like diverse NPCs that I talked to a bunch of people online and asked like what they were lacking, like when people look for stuff on like Pinterest to use for characters, and so I'm filling the void and having them all be in one place.
I have given my notes.
Yes.
I want a little abuelita cleric that heals people with her food.
Oh,
Nice.
You.
Because I think that's needed. So, so go check out Lynn's Patreon. It's the Holy Bro. It's going to go live 1st of January. So
It's Holy Bro NPC.
Holy Bro NPC. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want some nice, fun, cool, diverse, inclusive NPCs, go give a sub and get some nice, sweet, beautiful character art. So, with that, if there's no other announcements, I suppose we can just run right into introductions. So, hi, I am Vic, and I am going to be your DM, and I'm going to be realizing my middle school dream of role-playing every single dragon in this game.
Wow.
you finally get to be the cryptid you want to be.
I finally get to be the cryptid I want to be. 13-year-old me is living the dream. Next to me is...
Hi, everybody. I'm Tabatha. I'm still without a PC. I will be playing Patience, the Tiefling Sorcerer. Ranger.
That's very important.
It is. It's
Trained very hard for that title.
Yep.
Like a true Sykes. Hey,
Grandpa
Jesus.
would be proud.
Who are you playing?
Hey everybody, I am Jesus. I am getting my character card out right now. I would be playing Tarsius Chadington. He is a Minotaur fighter, barbarian, and totally graduated gentleman school and did not get kicked out at all.
What? This is the dark backstory I was promised.
This is the dark backstory. He cheated on his exam.
Oh, there's a character fun fact.
Technically, no, he never cheated.
He's a good boy.
He's too much of a no. He's too scared to cheat. He was afraid of getting caught.
Meanwhile, with his sister, hey Jeremiah,
Who totally
Who was
cheated.
never caught. Who totally cheated, never caught.
Exactly.
graduated valedictorian.
Salutatorian. Just
Oh
to,
shit!
so,
Excuse me.
just so that they don't get suspicious. So just second best, so they don't
Playing
get
it smart, I
suspicious.
see.
Anyway, I was playing Cordelia, Chadington, Uncursed Medusa Fighter Rogue.
Nice. Thank you for that. And we have legs for days. Lynn.
Flynn, I'm playing Lord Greyson, Phoebus Tataric. He also went to gentleman's school, but we don't talk about that.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about that one fun fact?
No, we don't need to have that on air. Everyone knows. It's fine.
He is the gentleman's school.
The people who know about that know what they need to know. But anyway, he's a human conjuration wizard.
That's how he gained his arcane focus. Anyway.
No, it's not. We don't talk about his arcane focus, and we don't talk about his thesis.
The first rule of gentleman's school.
Very fair.
About gentleman's school.
We definitely can't talk about the thesis online.
He grabbed
After hours, however.
Of that arcane focus and never let go.
So,
anyway,
for the one person who didn't go to gentleman's school, hey Sydney.
He would have failed. I'm Sydney. I'll be playing Nicodemus D. Hawkins, the human fighter, who is probably at this point kind of starting to wonder if his curiosity is going to come back and bite him in the ass. Since he wanted to come and do this so bad and see what was going on, and, then the nest attacked.
Yeah.
Oh, that nest.
Oh, that's a good nest.
We signed up for some mild diplomacy.
Signed up for mild diplomacy, got zombies.
Yep.
Alright, so, with that, let's go ahead and go through that beautiful intro.
Do it.
Anyway. Sir, please go lay down. So, let me get your thing going. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Boop. Here we are. So, I guess you need music. As we get our audio squared away. There we are.
There we are.
So, would anyone want to try recapping for an inspiration point? If you don't have one already.
I mean, I'll let somebody else do it.
Okay.
Not
All
everybody
right.
at once.
So are people recapping or no? No? Okay.
I just dropped all of my notes on the
Oh,
ground.
you're very in character, Hawk.
Literally every one of these sheets of paper, just like
So
30 sheets of paper.
last time you all met with Jamal and Elle, as they had arrived at the festivities within Waterdeep, as Jamal brought news that something unprecedented was happening. And that was a council of metallic dragons was coming together to discuss the events of the world and what's going on currently with this cult and Tiamat. What's even bigger news is the fact that they have agreed to share this council with leaders of the giant tribes. Which, for anyone who knows any little bit of history about Faerun, this is something that just does not happen. So, you all kind of, more or less agreed to join Jamal on this diplomatic mission. Greyson was voluntold by his loving husband.
Voluntold.
It was a sad departure.
Very sad. As you all said goodbye to the children, packed your things. Greyson packed at least 5 suitcases. And you all departed for the Nether Mountains, which, as you can see, is a little westward, away from the Sword Coast.
Okay.
As you flew for the better part of a day, you landed in a small, what looked to be abandoned village. Very small and dilapidated in nature. And Jamal requested to take the night to rest himself, since he was the one that was flying you there. As he went off to go and refill your water skins for you, you all just kind of started to, do your nightly routines, just hanging out, setting up your wonderful tiny hut to sleep in. Some of you making camp, looking for firewood. Some of you practicing your archery. Some of you poking around. And when you ended up poking around, Hawk found a old, worn-out journal that looked to have belonged to somebody who had lived in that village. That somebody having noticed strange things happening, crops not growing, animals growing sick, people growing sick, people disappearing in the middle of the night, leaving all of their belongings, hearing strange noises in the woods. And after that, you ended up finding some people, as Cordelia took notice that the snow was kind of sitting in odd shapes on the ground. And what started as one white rising from the ground turned into a whole nest starting to be disturbed as they started to rise wave after wave, and you felt like you were in this unending battle with the dead. But Jamal managed to make it back in time to be your quick exit as you all jumped on his back, flew away. And as you flew away, you noticed a very strange pattern to how the undead were arising from the earth. So, with that, Jamal has landed a little closer to your destination. This time just off of a mountain pass. No signs of any kind of civilization or anything. Just yourselves and the snow and whatever, mountain goats are out there. As you all kind of huddle up in Greyson's tiny hut for the night and ponder what you just witnessed. And also at the same time preparing for the council that would be coming the next day. So, let me get...
Is it currently nighttime or is it morning?
If you want it to be nighttime, it can.
If it is, Greyson's like, everyone get out of my hut.
As he says that.
Alright, I'm getting out.
Yeah, Cordelia's getting out too. And setting up,
Young.
finding a little corner to set up her camp.
That is the one.
Patient's just gonna stand up, dust off her little dress, and just be like, "Rude. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to be in your fancy schmancy hut, anyways."
Why are you even here? You are 8.
Your point?
What good are you going to do?
She's just gonna start cursing him out in Draconic.
As she starts to swear at you in Draconic. Because Greyson doesn't know Draconic, correct?
Let me check. With his grandfather, I think he knows a couple things, but I don't think he knows like the language fluently.
Okay, you know.
Gregor.
Oh, Gregor. So you would know some of the rougher words in that language.
Yeah, he's fluent in Common and Elvish with some Draconic.
Okay, so you can pick up that she's just a very rambunctious youth. In a way, kind of reminds you a little bit of Sybil.
Oh, God.
So.
Yeah. And besides, I was raised pretty much for the past 5 years by a dragon.
Congratulations. My mother was in a cult. Is this a competition?
No, but said cult's also very, very much involved with shit that's been going on with my family, and I'm also still trying to find out where my father is. And I would also like to get answers on that.
Well, good luck. Have fun.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
She's just gonna be like, okay. Just turn around and just walk out.
Oh boy.
I probably just like woke up like, ugh. Like, everybody's so loud and snippy.
Get the hell out of my tent.
I'm going.
As you all settle down individually into your own areas. And Greyson keeps his nice, well-insulated, fancy, tiny hut.
He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, that's fair. As Jamal, for the most part, remaining in dragon form, just in case for a quick escape, kind of curls himself around you all to also kind of radiate a bit of heat. So, you all bed down for the night, feeling a little safer, surrounded by a whole copper dragon. Eventually morning comes, as the daylight wakes you up, if anything, followed by the sound of mountain birds. As Jamal kind of rises up, just does like a very cat-like stretch. As he just kind of like waits for you all to start individually waking up and get ready to go. As it would be about, coming up on 6 a.m.
Patience also.
Oh, disgusting.
As Patience mimics Jamal's movement, she also stretches, sticking one little tiny hoof out in the back. As Jamal just kind of shakes the sleep off of him, just like, well, once everybody's, ready, we can head off.
Okay. You guys make food.
Okay.
Dust snow off of my fur, and then probably be good for everybody. Then be on our way, I guess.
Okay. Cordelia, what are we doing?
Cordelia is cold, very uncomfortable at this cold place, being a snake.
Alright, so everybody who's outside of the tiny hut, roll me an insight.
Oh, yes. You did say outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say that because I know for a fact Greyson's still sleeping.
Absolutely.
15. Also, DM, I'm gonna send you a thing.
Sure.
21.
21.
15
Oh, you said
for Hawk.
outside?
Okay. 15 for Hawk.
Sorry, hold on. Insight.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy. I forgot to mention the insight was for you.
Oh,
That's
four.
a 17.
Okay,
So everybody
never
by
mind.
Cordelia.
17.
Oh, okay.
17. Okay. So for the most part, you notice that Cordelia seems a little more, a little more sluggish than usual. She's while she's kind of like keeping up an air of she's fine, you can just kind of tell that the cold is slowing her down considerably.
Oh.
As Greyson, this is your first time in a while sleeping on your own without any, loud snores or needy children pestering you through the night.
He probably slept awful.
As you feel, you kind of tossed and turned, feeling a little bit restless. And by the time you've pretty much conceded that there's no way you're going back to sleep, you hear everybody else outside of your hut starting to get ready.
He just lays there and doesn't move.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not moving.
Alright. Just lay there staring at the ceiling. Hawk, what are we doing as we're getting ready?
He probably when he's not a morning person, so he was when people started stirring, he was probably sprawled out on the ground,
Okay.
just completely knocked out until everybody started stirring and making noise if someone was cooking or whatever. He finally kind of stirred around once again, why is it so noisy? And then he'd eventually kind of get up and look around and stretch and just kind of sit there and that thing you do in the morning when you're sitting there on the edge of your bed staring off into the abyss, wondering if you really have to get up. That's what he's doing.
Okay. Alright, as everybody's, for the most part, going about, getting ready. 1 moment. Okay. Greyson, what is your passive perception?
That is 12.
12? Okay. So you just be, for the most part, just kind of laying there. The sounds of conversation a little bit muffled by the cloth of your tent, as well as the wind kind of ruffling it. So it just kind of creates this kind of muted ambiance to you. As outside, Jamal is going to be talking about. He'll be kind of giving you notes for what's to come with the meeting. So he's like, all right, so I mean, just so you know, I don't know how long this meeting's going to last, because truthfully, dragons, have a long time to ponder things, and not quite sure how quickly an agreement's going to be reached.
If there ever even will be one.
If there will, yeah, exactly. If there ever be one. I guess it depends on how dire or urgent you make this seem. Say if Tiamat, shows up tomorrow, they might reach a decision a lot quicker, but it might take a couple of years. Decades.
That's what noise Tarsius is making at that.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
What?
No, because with what Jamal said, I imagine Patience just being like, I'm not really that smart, but I do remember one quote that my Dragon Mama used to say, Dragon politics is like the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies.
That's a lot to remember.
That was going to be my next point, actually. Says, dragons are very, they don't really spend a lot of time on the small scale with everyone else. They're a lot more big picture. They just kind of, watch everything from their, peaks, precipices, any high vantage points. You don't really, get to know anyone. All right, let me put this a little bit more honestly. Dragons don't exactly have the best people skills.
Oh.
My dragon mama didn't either, but didn't stop her from living around gnomes.
I'm gonna look at Cordelia and be like, are we people?
To dragons, you're people.
Okay.
In terms of dragon logic, there's dragons, there's giants, and then there's everything else smaller than us. He just kind of gestures to y'all with a claw. They and with that, they're a little bit more fixated on their opinions on the smaller races. Some of them, don't care about what you do. It's like trying to ask an ant for an opinion. And for others, it's like you're like a fishbowl that needs to be taken care of.
He's just flopped there, looking at him upside down, just like, so I'm a fish?
To a dragon, yes. There's no difference.
She'll just be kind of sitting there, probably messing around with whatever random knick-knack she has on her, probably a button.
Okay.
Yeah, and just be like, oh my god, Mr. Jamal.
Yes.
Yeah, would they happen to know anything at all about the cult itself, or no?
That's why this meeting's being called. They have become aware of it.
Oh, they just now become aware of it?
Well, they didn't mind it. It's just... At first, it was very, in the shadows. They were just raising Dracoliches and, just... I guess in the bigger scale, a lot of harmless stuff. But now that they're threatening to bring, Tiamat back, it's a lot more dire, since a lot of, pretty much all metallics kind of align with Bahamut.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna kind of look and just kind of shrug. Oh, I don't know. I just didn't realize that I guess it wasn't a dire situation that, other chromatics were involved.
Well, it's a very oil and water situation.
So they just choose what to, what to consider a bigger picture and what not to.
Now you're thinking like a dragon.
Wow, I hate this.
So, with that, we all ready to go?
Yep. Shake head, yes. Make sure everything is where it needs to be, my backpack and stuff, and Yeah.
All right.
I'll do my best to not scream.
As Jamal will just kind of like lean his head over near the tent and just, Greyson, we're leaving.
Give me 5 more minutes.
I really hope you're dressed.
Well, that's besides the point. Give me 5 minutes.
All right.
Patience just being like, no, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Oh gosh.
She's just gonna sit outside the tent. This is the song that never ends, for it goes on and on, my friend.
What?
I don't think sound can penetrate the tent.
Oh, does it?
I think we actually discussed it.
Is it outside or is it inside?
Okay, so I do very specifically remember there were some points where we did roleplay where sound could be heard outside the tent. But if that's not the case with tiny huts, we could always rescind that.
Some people started singing it not knowing what it was.
Alright, let me look it up real quick.
It doesn't say. It just says the magical effects can't.
I know for a fact that creatures that you do not allow in the tent cannot be in the tent.
Huh, okay.
All right. Let's see. Other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend. Remains dry regardless of weather. Yep. More or less. Okay. So.
This is the song that never
As Patience does that. Greyson, as a father of 3.5, how do you take that?
He's used to it by now. With Phoebe? Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. With Phoebe's many 3-hour ballet performances that he forces you to sit and watch.
His Enya ballets.
The entire discography of Enya.
Oh no.
Alright, so as you finally, taking your time, wanting to use the whole 5 minutes.
He's just fixing up his spell book real quick. That's all he's doing.
Alright. So as you fix up your spell book, get it all, got all your T's crossed, your I's dotted.
All the arcane symbols, blah, 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 blah.
Alright. So as you finish up, you dismiss your tiny hut?
Yep.
As you do, as you dismiss your tiny hut, you immediately just get a pile of snow just drops on top of you as it had collected somehow on the tent.
Cordelia's just gonna be in the corner just playing with her dancing sword. Just going like that.
Greyson, roll me insight.
Sitting there like...
Let's see. He got 17.
17.
Tarsius is
you've camped.
He's looking at Jamal only.
You've camped in the snow before, Greyson. You've camped in a mountainous region where, you've had to use your hut. And never before has it ever collected snow on top of it.
God, what's that spell? I gotta find it. It's in my thing. Where it just cleans it.
Oh, prestidigitation.
Yeah. Gross.
You just clean yourself up, and you notice two very, more innocent than normal, young adults. That being a very large, young Minotaur and a very small, Medusa. As they are doing their best to not make eye contact with you.
Patience with the surprised Pikachu face.
He's gonna cast Detect Thoughts on Tarsius.
Tarsius, what are your surface thoughts?
Oh no, don't look. Oh no, don't look. Oh no, don't look.
Oh, he's gonna go even further.
Okay, so Tarsius is going to have to roll a wisdom saving throw, if I recall.
Do it.
Yep, yes. Speed of 15.
I rolled an 18.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
You definitely get the sense he's trying to probe you.
Immediately go to the thought of me doing my homework in gentleman school.
I will say,
When I got that one spelling word very accurately.
I will say, Greyson, as you try to probe further into Tarsius's mind, you suddenly get this very, it's almost familiar to you, as it's very, angry in nature, as you just get like this reverb back, and then you get a flash of what feels like a very huge, Minotaur, like dark-haired Minotaur, like slapping you by the face and throwing you back.
Oh, no.
As you're just like, you're still standing in place. You're just like, what the fuck?
yeah, he just thinks for a moment. I should call him. And then he'll just walk.
What?
Jamal just sighs.
God.
He just kind of hunkers down like, alright, if we're ready.
Yep.
And if you're all ready, we'll climb onto Jamal. So you all get situated, where in, whichever way is comfortable for you. No patience, you can't ride on the leg again.
Aww.
As you go to like scamper towards his foot, he just like picks you up by two claws and like sticks you back on the same spot, like right behind his horns.
Why not?
I need them to land. And you're very small, and the wind is very, very strong.
I have the fly spell. I'm good.
Something tells me that it's very, very bad if I lose you. I really don't want to do that.
I'll be fine.
I won't.
Hawk's gonna be like, for your own safety, I think it would be best if you were to sit with everybody else. Because, we're all in this together, and if you were to, like, tragically fall off because of the wind, not only are you gonna be in a really bad situation, potentially, but so is everybody who is here helping do this, because then we would have lost you, potentially.
Fine.
Jamal just kind of like puts a claw to his chest and is like, trust me when I say I have a very loud, very little but very significant voice in my head that's saying, do not lose that child. And I'm not going to lose that child.
That's
actually
Hawk's just gonna pat on his
does anybody have some rope? Can we like make a thing for her?
I don't need a seatbelt.
Not a seatbelt, a harness.
I have a rope.
You're not gonna harness me. You are not gonna put a baby harness.
I was gonna say more like a kid
harness.
leash.
You're not a baby.
That's what I meant. Yeah, a kid leash. I'll just bite through the rope.
Well, it's just a waste of rope. Hawk's like, never mind, fine.
Okay.
I was going to be for your safety, but okay, if you insist.
Just don't fall.
Please.
I won't. She's just gonna huff and just sit on the dragon, arms crossed, all angry.
Alright, as you all get situated, Jamal gives a warning of brace yourselves before he takes off. And I need everybody to roll me strength.
The seatbelt sign.
Seatbelt sign goes on.
Please be seated and do not move about the cabin.
You see a smaller, like, illusion version of Jamal just going, your exits are here and here. You make sure to put the mask over the child first, in case air masks drop.
It's actually the other way around. You put your own mask on before helping
That's
others.
how often I fly. Which is never.
Okay, so what was
I
this again?
build airplanes.
Strength saving throw?
Yes.
I got
Oh,
a
is it a
saving
saving throw?
Saving
Sure.
throw or just
Oh,
strength?
yeah.
Let's go strength saving throw.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, good. Then it's a lot higher. Okay.
25 for Hawk.
It's definitely a lot better for me as well, but I don't know if it's any better anyway.
Mine's
Because if it was,
Good job. All right, what'd you get, Cordelia?
because if it was strength, it would have been a 6. But because saving throw, it's a 10.
Okay. Tarsius, what did you get?
17 if it's a saving
Okay,
throw.
good. Hawk, what did you get?
25.
25. Okay. Greyson, what did you get?
14.
14? Okay. So as you all kind of like lurch forward as he takes off, and Cordelia, there's a moment where you feel yourself slip, but you immediately like slide back into your brother, and he's just like a full solid wall keeping you in place.
There's my seatbelt.
Patience just like
Take his tail, and you just like tuck it over your lap.
Patience is just looking just like, and you all say, I need the seatbelt.
You do.
You did very well.
I know.
Positive reinforcement doesn't work with this child.
I'm a freaking delight.
As Grayson, you can't help but think that Patience definitely does remind you of someone.
Wait, there are 2 of them.
Somehow, some way, there might be 2 of them. So, as you all take off flying, eventually, I'd say after a couple of hours, you start to see what looks to be this large, like, gray precipice. Just, like, this large gray mountain just in the distance as... everybody roll me a perception.
Perception.
Oh my god.
It is a 9.
9, okay.
That's a 15.
15.
Yeah, 15.
8 for Cordelia.
Okay.
I'm not rolling well. Okay, let me roll this purple.
Grey got a 12.
Nice. I will say, for those that rolled 10 and up, you'll start to see what looks to be these, like, shining dots in the distance around, like, kind of circling around the mountain. And as you get closer, you start to realize, oh, those are dragons.
Ooh.
As one by one, they all start to descend in, like, these, like, fast spiraling patterns. You see a couple, you see, like, 2 gold dragons. You see couple of silver, some bronze, copper, just like all of them swirling down as they land on this mountainside. And who rolled the highest? That was, I heard, like a 15?
Me.
That was you.
I also
Okay.
got a 15.
Okay, so you got a 15 too. You will see, Tarsius and Patience, as everybody's like more or less focusing on the dragons themselves, your eyes kind of trail upwards and you see what looks to be, is that like, are those like castle spires, like kind of like in between the clouds?
Ooh.
Which you've ridden in that castle before. As you see what looks to be hints of Blagothicus' sky castle, just kind of hovering above the mountain.
Sky Castle!
As Jamal makes his way down, spiraling in the same fashion as the other dragons, as you all land on this large, like, flat gray plateau. Like, not much, no vegetation, no, like, anything, just smooth, flat rock that's capped here and there with, like, mounds of snow. Let me put your spud there, and let me put you there.
Ooh.
It's gonna sound weird. Their wings made me think of beta fish.
I mean, yeah.
Agreed.
They are very aquatic. one by one, they all start to land. A lot of the metallics kind of like hang back in the background as a chosen few kind of step forward, kind of like the ambassadors of their own color in a way. As you see, hold please. So you'll see 5 metallics kind of like form a circle. One of them gold, one of them brass, one of them silver, one bronze, and then one copper. As at the same time, you see large, these very large, like humanoid figures also standing on the plateau. As Jamal kind of like lets you all off, and you see 2 very tall, very gray-skinned stone giants. As they both kind of stand together, one with their arm hooked with the other, as they wait patiently next to this even taller cloud giant who kind of stands like with this gold plate mail armor, this like and like a tattered like blue kilt covered in like hides and leathers, as he kind of like stands there with his arms crossed, and his like silvery white hair just like floats around him like almost like mist. And Greyson, you recognize this individual as Blagothkus, the Cloud Giant King.
Oh, fun. He'll just walk up to him.
As he just looks down at you, and then just, like, squats down. Just like, oh, Tataric, yes. And he, like, offers his hand out to you.
Take it, I guess, and... Right. He'll bow.
Okay. He'll nod his head to you. I have not heard from you in some time.
That's great news. That means it was working.
He just kind of like tilts his head. Were you hiding?
It's not really what we were doing. We were just, staying out of the public eye.
You just kind of like nod. And then next thing you know, Greyson, you kind of feel a hand kind of like hit their knuckles into your shoulder. As you look over and you see a very petite drow woman in platinum armor. As she just kind of like gives you a look, and she's just like, you don't bother to, write. I have to hear secondhand messages from your sister.
Good enough, isn't it?
I mean, I was hoping I would be on a friend level, but I guess I'm just not there yet. She'll smile.
That's exclusive. I'm sorry. You have to pay for that tier.
She'll smile, and then she'll just like kind of give you like a one-armed hug. Just glad you're still alive.
On the outside, yes.
That just means fatherhood's going well, then.
Fantastic. But if it were, some other people in my life's choice, I wouldn't be here.
She'll kind of like pull a worried face. She's just like, yeah, I've tried to keep and she'll kind of like gesture to her ears, just like try to keep an ear out to hear if anything's been going on with her, but it's been kind of quiet, and that scares me.
Yes. Quiet is never good.
How's Xavier? Is he alright?
No.
No filter, just
Wow.
No, he's not.
I mean, I wouldn't expect him to get over it in a few months.
Yeah.
And is he managing okay? Like, what's he up to? Last I heard, he wanted to pursue cooking.
Yes, he's cooking now. He is under the tutelage of a very hairy man. Still a bit skittish, but his dreams are broken forever. So we have my mother to thank for that.
Well, I wish I could. I mean, I wish I had the power to fix that for him, but that's entirely up to him.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Well, I'll do what I can to, keep looking for her, but no promises.
No, I don't expect anything.
I've got my hands full having to, try to outrun the cult and at the same time try to get as much information as I can from them. But, that's why I am here now. And, Spud's here too, and you feel your coat tugged at your waist as a donkey chews on the fabric of it.
Okay, where's the other one at?
He's,
Is he dead? Did he finally die?
Wow.
No, but he wishes.
Ah, yes.
He's currently nest sitting.
What?
He's been staying, with a small, clan of chromatics, often, kind of toward the swamps. It kind of borders because, he really wants to see his other children, as he puts it.
Spud and Spud.
Yes, the three Spuds.
Right, the Spuds.
Yeah, it's a weird joint custody thing.
So is he there alone with these nests? He's not going to wander off and get lost or something, or fall off a cliff or something. I don't know.
He should be fine, but
no, he shouldn't.
Are you sure you want to leave him alone?
Janva says.
Last that I recall, he and someone else decided to lift something very important from me and then go out on a boat Joyce ride.
Oh.
And ruin so many things. Do you remember that? That was fun. He's gonna look at the donkey.
I think the meeting's starting. We should probably listen.
How convenient. Yes, let's do that.
She kind of avoids eye contact immediately.
Hashtag Fox did nothing wrong.
Hashtag Fox did nothing wrong. As the donkey looks at you, just with as much innocence as a donkey can hold in his eyes.
So sinister.
Very serious, very serious. As you hear what sounds like this kind of this distorted thrum. It sounds like when you pluck the lowest piano wire, but the bass is intensified, as it just kind of comes from the largest gold dragon of the group. As I will say, everyone roll me nature patience. You can roll with advantage.
Oh, okay.
Because this is specifically a dragon thing.
Wow. Ray got a 19.
Nice.
Jesus.
Probably not. That's a 6 plus.
Oop.
18 for Cordelia.
I think it's a 6 for the big boy.
And a 4 for Hunk.
Aw, yeah, we know so.
We're changing dice.
Oh no. Hawk, do you need new dice?
I know, I changed my dice because my dice was rolling so bad.
Yeah, I need new dice. Hold on.
Sorry, the boy keeps barking and I don't know why.
There's dragons
Oh.
on foot.
DM, I have a question. I'm gonna message it to you real quick.
Sure, go for it. As
I got nervous because at first I rolled a 4.
As everybody's just kind of like huddling near Jamal because it's like you're at a party and you know nobody else, so you just hang by the person that brought you.
Been there.
I rolled a 19.
I'm there all the time. That's my every waking moment I'm in a social gathering. So I will say, Hawk, you notice as... Sorry. I heard something be disturbed in my dining room, and now I'm very concerned.
It's me.
It concerned him, too.
It's a heckin' concern. Ooh, that's a good question. So, Hawk, I will say, as you guys kind of mostly hang around by Jamal, you see as Greyson just kind of like branches off and starts immediately walking towards the very large, very menacing-looking cloud giant and starts to have what looks to be a very friendly conversation with him. As the giant squatted down, kind of shook his hand with his finger, and like they had a pleasant talk. As who rolled above a 10?
19.
19, very nice.
19 as well.
Okay.
I had an 18.
18, okay. Tarsius, what did you get?
6.
6, okay. And Hawk, you got an 8, if I recall?
4.
4, oh my god, I was too generous, I'm sorry. Oh, buddy. Alright, so, for Hawk and Tarsius, Hawk, I will say, you've spent time training with giants. You've been around creatures that are much larger than you, and you've, for the most part, have gotten over the jarring feeling it is to be the smallest thing in the room. But you get this sense of, this is very different with dragons. There's this almost primal, this primal feeling in you that you are surrounded by very large, very deadly creatures, and if they so wished it, you could be prey. Tarsius, you are definitely feeling very small right now.
Yup.
As you're just looking around, you're like, that's a lot of dragons. You've never seen this many dragons before. This is like, if you had a bird watching book, it would just be completely empty with the amount of dragons you've seen in your lifetime up until like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
For everyone else, and I'll say specifically Patience, you notice looking at all of these dragons, specifically the gold one that seems to be heading this entire meeting as he stands at what looks to be the forefront of a circle. Mm-hmm. As all eyes are on him specifically. You see that the color of his scales is less lustrous as some. Mm-hmm. You see as he has his eyes are a little more faded, his whiskers much longer, and there's like, you can see like parts where scales are chipped. There's like scars along his feet. Some bits of his wings are like kind of like battered and ripped. And you can tell that this is a very, very old dragon.
Can she tell it's an ancient?
Yes, you can. Same with Greyson. Your experience with Glazhail, him being an ancient white dragon, you know what old age looks like in a dragon now. So you do recognize that this is a very, very old dragon. You see a couple of other older ones, the brass one specifically as well, and the copper one.
Is there a white one?
There is not. From what you can see, there are only metallic colors. So you see gold, you see silver, brass, copper, bronze.
Well, that's good.
So all metallics. As you hear that deep vibrating thrum that comes from the gold dragon, and he looks at all of you and just kind of like tilts his head to the side in what looks to be amusement. As when he talks, there's just this very grinding ancientness to his tone. As he just, I see we've gathered quite the audience. I suppose for your benefit, we will choose the common tongue for this meeting. Out of politeness for the smaller ones. And, of course, the giant friends who have joined us today. And he kind of nods over to Blagothkis and the two stone giants, who kind of like walk a little closer to the circle, but they don't enter the circle. They kind of like stand outside of it, like Blagothkis still with his arms crossed, and the two stone giants behind him as they just listen attentively. I suppose we shall begin this meeting with a roll call. As you notice that this gold dragon has a very winded way of talking. You know, like he's literally has all day to do this. Patience, your tiny little ADHD mind is slowly dying.
Is there any grass or anything on
There's
this
no
mountain
grass,
ledge?
there's no foliage, there is only rocks and snow.
Son of a bitch, she's just gonna go and find pebbles to just start chucking.
As you do, they don't really seem to notice you because you're so small, or just they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
As the gold dragon continues to speak, I am Protanther. I will be leading this council as I have been titled as the former King of Justice amongst our kin. And he looks over to his right as another ancient, the brass dragon, steps forward. I am called Eleuthera. And he nods to his left as the other ancient, the copper one. These names are going to kill me, I swear. Dragon names are so complicated. As she just kind of like sits there, and she bows her head to you, to all of you first, as a sign of respect, and then to Jamal. She says, I am Taz Mikella. And then one by one, the other dragons in the circle. The silver one's going to kill me. The silver one is going to kill me.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I normally don't try to... I just now saw it, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
As the silver one, they don't really bow their head. They kind of like eye you critically as they kind of look you over. And they just kind of raise their head up very proudly and say, I am Otari Cleocarnos. And then finally the bronze dragon, as he just kind of like straightens up, gives a little bit of a, like he's clearing his throat, but really doesn't need to. He's just doing it for, you know, the procession of it. You may call me Nimmer. And Protanther just kind of like holds a claw out to you all. And it's just like, I suppose as my manners, you will be joining this meeting. If you are, I would need your names. Or you little creatures like to form guilds, if I recall. Do you have guild names?
I'm gonna look towards everybody in the group. Do we have a name? Like, I don't know if it was official.
Cordelia is just wide-eyed because they're like,
Like, Tarsius is panic looking at Greyson since he is the oldest.
Greyson, you are the adult.
Okay. He's just gonna, like, sigh loudly, and then he'll step forward. Oh, God. Yeah, he'll go up to whichever dragon is closest to him. I guess the more important looking of the bunch.
So, Greyson, roll me a insight. With advantage, because this feels very similar to some social functions you've had to attend.
18.
18, okay. So, you know for a fact, as he had stated, he would be leading the meeting, but you can tell, with the way that he carries himself and the way that the other dragons look to him, this is the dragon that is going to make the decision.
Right, okay. He kind of, like, slicks his hair back, and his demeanor immediately changes.
Okay.
He goes from being very tired, annoyed looking, to very proper, and with it.
Yep.
Yes. I am Greyson Phoebus Tataric. Lord Greyson Phoebus Tataric, might I add. And these behind me are... He looks behind you, behind him, and just... my companions.
Patience is going to chuck one more rock and then make a turn around and do a little curtsy. And Draconic just being like, Patience.
I would say Protanther would have, like, leaned his head down to you, Greyson, to just kind of, like, hear you better, because he is very old. And then you see his eyes just kind of, like, brighten up when he hears Patience speak Draconic, and he's just like, one so small who knows a language so ancient. Very nice, very good. What'd you say, Greyson?
He's like, no, don't give her too much credit.
Well, I'd say credit is definitely due where it needs to be. I understand that in your limited lifespans, it's very difficult to learn multiple languages. It's very treasured skill amongst you.
Patience just gonna nod, and... Oh boy. Shervithia of the Evergreens taught me.
Oh, okay. Let me roll something.
Speaking Shervithia, Sage of the Evergreens taught me.
Okay. He's just kind of like is deep in thought for a moment. Let me double check some notes real quick. Okay. That's the note I was looking for. So, as he, as like, they kind of, like, look amongst each other, and then they look to him, and he's just like, I don't think I've heard that name before. I don't usually take to the Evergreens. I hear there are... usually chromatics like to stay in the lower altitudes.
She prefers the company of gnomes.
Ah, gnomes. Very good. Very nice. Very cute little things. Come here. Are you a gnome? And he kind of, like, squints his eyes, because it's like, if you feel like, Greyson, you feel like you can't see past a certain range right now.
Oh, great.
He just kind of, like, squints over at Patience.
Yeah, her just... Because she's about ready to say something, but as much as she knows that the other parent is not there, it's like, no, sir, I'm a tiefling.
You see, like, Grayson, you see, like, his brow ridges just kind of raise up slightly. It's just like, oh, I see. Oh, then. And he returns to his usual position of sitting properly and says no more on that.
Is Patience near Grayson at all?
Where are
I
you,
would say
Patience?
by this point, probably, yeah.
Okay, as Patience would have clopped near you. Little
Okay.
tiny hooves.
Grayson will like lean down towards Patience, just out of earshot, and just be like, "If you're going to name drop, make sure you know who you're name dropping and that they know who it is too."
She's just going to just smile and then look at him and just being like, listen, I am maybe about 5 minutes away from maybe losing my collective shit, so...
Oh, you and me both. Great.
As the ancient copper dragon, Tasmikella, she kind of like tilts her head to the side as she studies you, Grayson.
Uh-oh.
As Patience makes that noise. Just like, you said your name was Tataric, yes?
That's it?
It does sound familiar. But then again, I have known a lot of names in my time.
Oh, you would probably know my grandfather then.
Do I?
Probably.
What was his name?
Gregor.
Gregor. And you see, like, a smile just kind of, like, pull on her face. And you see, like, these very sharp rows of teeth.
Honestly, he's used to it.
To Grayson, this is not a threat.
No.
It's an invitation. As she kind of, like, taps her claws on the stone. I think I've known Gregor. Yes. The Dragon Slayer. And immediately there's just like this buzz of like kind of like whisperings in Draconic to the dragons amongst each other.
As soon as he hears that, he's gonna cast blah blah the comprehend language.
Comprehend language. Okay. As you do, they start to kind of like they're whispering like Dragon Slayer amongst each other, and just like it's a general like buzz of concern that you would associate with the Dragon Slayer.
Fair.
And some of them like hoping that no metallics were harmed in that, and it's like, well, we never know with the smaller ones.
I'm sorry. Patience just standing there twirling a little piece of thread, just like, oh, be sure to like, know about name dropping. She's just gonna say that in mocking tone of Grayson.
I want you to do your best Johnny Sims impersonation right now.
I'm not on the spot.
Doesn't have to be the best, because it's Patience.
Grayson just says like, I know. They know.
As Tasmikella just kind of
to do your best on name dropping, so it's someone that they know.
As Tasmikella just kind of like she like taps a claw to her chin as she thinks, and she's like, I think your grandfather took something from me, but we can discuss that later.
Ooh, is that tea?
I know he took something.
While he was very charming, I'm not
Maybe don't
fond
say
of thieves.
Well, neither am I.
Right. So, as Protanther just kind of like clears his throat to get back on track. Right. So we've gathered here to discuss the this cult that has been forming. Yes, as Patience raises her hands right next to you, Greyson. Yes.
Pardon the interruption. How long is this gonna take? If I may ask.
Is Protanther just kind of like barely regards you, but like kind of keeps like he addresses the group as a whole. It's just like, this will take as long as it needs to, for this is a meeting that will decide the fate of the world.
Greyson nods.
The child does not like the sound of this.
Tarsius looks very uncomfortable around everything that's happening.
Right.
She's really gonna just kind of like, just kind of like fidget in place, like, I don't know if we have that much time, per se.
These decisions need time in order to consider all possibilities, because it's very important.
Yeah, when you have a cult that has dragon masks and are very, very close to bringing Tiamat from the Nine Hells, if I'm recalling this correctly, we definitely have all the time.
Yeah, DM, how much actual information would Tarsius know regarding the cult?
So I will say the information that you know, since for the better part of the first game, Tarsius was very much on the outside of the loop, as he had just finished his gentleman's schooling and was traveling to go see his uncle. Same with Cordelia. You've heard the news about like cults raiding small villages and taking treasures and people, and you've heard of dragons attacking along the countryside, but you never knew why this was happening. And it wasn't until recently when you journeyed into the woods with everyone and encountered a real like worm speaker that worked within the cult, did you start kind of realizing that what they're doing has a purpose, that they are weaving together these plans to surmount to, which you now know is Tiamat coming back from the Nine Hells. As the donkey finds a puddle on the ground somewhere, starts enjoying a drink. Hawk, I will say that you kind of know, like your eyes are on the dragons, but like every now and then, like because you just kind of like look over at the giants, you're just like kind of watching them like every now and then, and you'll see that like they're kind of like talking amongst each other in giants, as the dragons are just for the most part ignoring them.
Is he close enough to hear what they're talking about?
Not quite, but if you choose to saunter over, you could.
Probably he's kind of chomping at the bit. Like he's like, there are giants here. There are giants here. Like I don't think he was expecting anyone to be there.
Right.
Like he knew that. I mean, yeah, he was probably like, well, of course they're gonna be here. Like, well, you can't make decisions like this for both everybody without having representatives here from everybody. But he's sitting there like, I want to go talk to the giants, and he's like sitting there like, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think anybody's really paying attention to me, and he's just gonna like slowly kind of like meander over to the giants like casually and just stand there for a second like wide-eyed, and then the giant go, hi.
As you approach, you kind of start to pick up bits of conversation amongst the stone giants, as they're the ones mainly talking amongst each other, as for the most part they're just complaining about how long this is going to take, that it's typical that these dragons would want to focus on, you know, the more important matters in their opinion, which is it's just like a lot of like, you know, like you're getting some hot goss right now.
This is Tarsius here since he knows giant.
Since you know giant, if you were standing next to where Hawk started, probably not, as they would have been whispering to each other.
Okay, then I don't hear that.
Okay. But you will like see them like kind of like talking amongst each other, like very like kind of hushed in a way.
Okay.
As Hawk, you say hello, they look down at you, and they just kind of like look a little amused. They almost look identical in a way, just very similar in style. As they both have like these like shaved heads. One of them having like markings painted like these like kind of like very I'm gonna say like Art Deco patterns kind of like painted down the side of their face and a bit like down their like chin and neck, as they wear like these kind of woolen sashes and skirts. The other one having the same kind of Art Deco pattern on the other side of the face, but not along the chin, but on their collarbones. As the first one just kind of like looks at you. Hello?
It's nice to meet you. And he's saying all of this in giant because
right.
He's like common languages. You know, my name is Nicodemus D. Hawkins. It's a pleasure to meet you.
As they remain very, pardon my pun, stone-faced. As the other one then speaks, and what makes this a pleasure, Mr. Nicodemus?
It's always a pleasure to meet new beings. Especially in an environment where we're trying to foster peace and do things for the greater good.
Still just kind of like just listen very passively, and I'll say the one on the right just kind of like holds a hand to their chest as they say Wigloff, and then the other one holds a hand to their chest. Hulda.
Which one is which?
The one with the pattern going down the right side of the face is Wigloff, and the one with the pattern going down the left side of the face is going to be Hulda.
Okay. Oh, Sydney. Okay. I'm very much looking forward to the potential for a solution for what's going on, but I'm very interested to see how everything is going to pan out between the giants and the dragons.
They kind of like look at you, and then they look at each other, and they kind of like give like a little laugh, and just that's if it goes anywhere, is what Wigloff says.
That's fair. Because, yes, it does seem that there isn't a rush when I'm kind of new to the whole situation, relatively, but it does seem like things are progressing a lot more quickly than anyone has anticipated, and you know, I know that sometimes making plans and things takes a lot of time, but hopefully, being as that time is of the essence, a plan of some sort can be formulated with relative quickness.
Hulda gives kind of like a wry smile as they're just like, the only problem with dragons is they think they have all the time.
Maybe it's good that he's gonna kind of like half look back over his shoulder at where Patience was. Maybe it's good that we have some less than patient beings to attempt to move things along.
Wiggloff just kind of nods, like, we can only hope. Like, our friend, Lagothkis, and they kind of, like, nod over to the very large cloud giant who's very stone-faced, looking straight at the meeting, just, like, listening very intently for both of them, more or less. He's the one that wishes to broker peace between, or at least a truce between the giants and the dragons. There was another that meant to join us, Joko, but he didn't quite agree. Not a lot of us agree.
I mean,
Is Joko a frost giant?
He is.
Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna head out now.
now I was about to say, does Hawk know who that is by chance? Like, is he anyone of any note that Hawk would have heard about from anyone else?
It does sound like a very notable name amongst... You would have heard that name in passing while hanging out in, like, giant communities every now and then.
Okay. Like, oh. Well, I mean, I suppose to a point I understand, but I think there's also a call for it. You know, there are differences. There have been problems and some bad blood, but at the same time, I think that hopefully we can all agree on, by we, I mean we, because this affects everybody in this room at this point, that sometimes those differences have to be put aside, if only to keep life. Like, look, none of this sounds good. If I'm being honest, what I've understood of all of this, joining this relatively recently, is if there were ever a time, it's probably now.
We will have to see, is what Hulda says. And Wiggloff just kind of shrugs. King Blagothkis, he assumes that the dragons are going to want an apology from at least one tribe of giant each before they decide on a truce between us. Which, we're here because we just want to get it over with. Blagothkis is here to broker for the cloud giants. Joko, well, I don't think he quite agrees yet. And it's proven difficult to get hill giants to even venture this far, let alone listen long enough.
Yeah, you know, I've got to be the person that sits here and says, you know, I've an appreciation for rune markings and things, and I've been doing my best to learn about them, and to learn to use them. But I gotta say that a hill giant tried to kill me more than I tried to be nice. I did. Like, I just wanted to learn, but they don't. You know, I've met many pretty polite giants such as yourselves, but hill giants do not seem to be quite so amicable.
They kind of, laugh at that. As Wiggloff, giants have interesting ways of socializing. We haven't figured them out yet. But you study giant runes, do you? And they gesture to the side of their face, and where you see kind of like mixed in between the deco design, you do recognize like some runes, kind of like tattooed in there.
I do. Does he recognize any of the runes that they have tattooed on them?
You recognize like one of them.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to the one that you've learned.
Okay.
As they kind of smile, a little more friendly now. As what's inspired you to learn about these runes?
Well, I guess I always just really felt like I read stories and things when I was younger about heroes and things about giants and reading about, runes and rune magic and things, and it always was something that fascinated me that I wanted to learn about. And eventually I decided that I was going to venture out into the world to actually learn something instead of just waiting. And that's gotten me, here now.
As Hulda just kind of holds a hand to their cheek, and they're just like, perhaps we should trade notes sometime.
Hawkins like, I would love that, like nerding out, like that would be so awesome.
By that time, Blagothkus kind of turns around. He's just like, shh, pay attention. Alright. As I will say, yes.
No, go ahead.
Because I'll say by this point, the dragons, they would have been like, it would have been a long list of like discussing like what they know about the cult, which is basically recapping everything that, for the most part, Greyson, you know, and you, the players, know, is that these cults are amassing a horde for Tiamat, stealing gold and artifacts and things of some notable value to, venerate to the dragon goddess. As the 5 dragon masks are being sought out and collected as a means to power the way to get Tiamat out of hell. As Janva would have been the one to explain that the masks initially were a vision brought to the leader of the cult, Severin, by Tiamat, as he had spoken with her directly through a series of dreams.
That sounds hokey.
Janva just kind of looks at you, Patience. It does, doesn't it? But what's important here is the fact that we know that they have a good portion of these masks, Severin holding most of them. The red one was the first one he acquired, and then the black one was acquired through a small town. It's not on a map anymore, Greenest, as it had been overrun by the cult and eventually kind of wiped clean off the map after a few series of attacks. The governor had the mask hidden away in his personal belongings, and they somehow tracked it down and found it. I was there when the dragon went right through that tower.
That sounds awful.
It was. We went through a lot to track down these masks. The green worm speaker, Narenbane, he had the green mask, but
He doesn't anymore.
she kind of looks at you a little surprised. No, he doesn't. How do you know that?
Because I was in... Oh god, what was the name of the forest?
The High Forests.
Yeah, because we were in the High Forest and we fought Narenbane.
she'll look to all of you, Tarsius and Cordelia. It's like, is that true?
Yeah, I pretty much took care of Nirenvain. We all did.
You personally took care of Nirenvain.
Looking back, was I the final blow? Because I wasn't actually sure.
Well, technically the final blow is Abby.
Technically,
that's true.
Technically,
because I know, like a lot of that fight, I was like in a 1v. I was in a 1v1.
You were locked in a 1v1 situation with Nirenvain for a long time. You were the one to subdue him, and then he was ultimately the one that.
I did kind of tie him up. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but as Patience will put it, it's like, yeah, we encountered Nirenvain and Chuth and
there's like a hiss through the dragons at the mention of that name.
Yeah, and then Nirenvain used some really nasty, assuming it was necromancy magic, and used Chuth's corpse to basically become a Dracolich.
Chuth is allergic to bees.
Hey, we learned.
That dragon was very much allergic to bees.
Dragons are allergic to bees.
The bees?
There's a bee?
That's impressive.
There's like a clamor of conversation between all these dragons.
This
as
time, Tarsius is just staring at the King of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not very happy. And he's just staring at him.
Okay.
Almost like a lot of the conversation is just going over him. And he's listening, and as each new piece of information he learns, he can't help but fidget and just not be okay with what's happening.
As the brass dragon, Eleuthera, he just kind of like, for the most part, looks bored through this conversation. As he just kind of like waves a claw, and it's just like, I don't see why we need to get involved. It seems they have it handled. They're, taking care of what needs to be taken care of.
Really?
And Tarsius is immediately gonna look at them. Do you not honor? And gonna look at Janva's shield, the Platinum Dragon. Is this not something that you care for?
Oh, you say that, and you see his nostrils flare.
No.
As he just kind of like rears up to his full height and looks at you, Tarsius. You better watch your tone, small one.
And you better start caring about others. We live our lives down here, as you stay on your mountains and just watch, as the world burns just because you're older. Are you even alive? Do any of you care? People are dying.
Tarsius, roll me a persuasion.
Okay. Oh, fuck you.
I was like,
19.
Nice.
6, so 25.
25. Alright. As everybody, like, they all look at you, and they're, like, all actively listening. And the Silver Dragon, we're gonna call them Otari, because I'm not repeating that name a second time.
Okay, that's
for the sake of me having a stroke.
Easier way to say it.
There's a lot of hard sounds in there, and I'm like, oof. My stuttering could never. So, sir.
That's Champ trying to pronounce the name.
Yeah, exactly. That's in Draconic. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
As they kind of like look very, they're very engaged with what you have to say, Tarsius. It's just I think that it it could do some good for us to engage. It could do some good for us to help these smaller creatures. They're going to need the help.
Yeah, especially if they have an ancient red dragon running around. Patience just saying that offhandedly.
As Protanther, very quickly, we do not speak of Cormoranth.
Yeah, well, he's an issue.
So you're going to ignore the subject until it becomes a threat for your life, instead of nicking it now. With the help that you obviously have. You're obviously here, you're obviously concerned, you obviously know this is a threat. But you're not going to do nothing until its breath is on you. And then the 5-headed queen's breath is on all of us.
As I'll say, the silver one, at this point, just looks like they're kind of like lounging on the ground, just like with their elbows propped on their chin as they listen.
Nah. He's gonna take a deep breath and like posture himself up so he doesn't get riled up. If we do nothing, we know that they're going to rise and open the gate, open the well, and Tiamat will come back. And she will destroy everything, undoing all that is good, undoing all that is balanced, spitting on many gods' faces and demons' faces and devils' faces. When that happens, I will die with my axe in evil, and I will know that I did everything I could to stop it. How would you remember your own death? Where will you be? In your mountain, surrounded by your gold? Will you be actually doing something?
As Protanther listens to you, Tarsius. He just like inhales deeply. I think now would be a good time to take a break.
Oh, okay.
As we're gonna take a break.
Good, because I'm like really nervous and like I don't know what to do now.
There's like nowhere to go to the bathroom up here. It's all flat surface. There's no rocks.
There's no privacy.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be back soon. So.
All right.
You all feel the ground just like shift and move.
Does this mean we should have ran?
No. It means we sit here and fight. We're not gonna let Jamal take all the glory. We need to kill them all. Let's fucking go, bro. Let's fucking go.
Do it.
I'm raging. I have more than 100 HP. I'm hasted. Let's go.
This is what a dire situation feels
What
like.
Tarsius
victim
stretching feels like. Let's
of a
do it.
hate crime.
Let's do
Because
it.
I hate this.
You see a cod standing in front of everybody.
I like this.
Where is across the hatch? And then, as you're noticing this, right next to him, this kind of small 5-footed individual walks forward with the same goldish mass in front of them. He just takes out these 2 daggers, and underneath them, it kind of encapsulates with the shadowish energy. And you see Carver with the same mask.
What?
Hi, as we're back. So, Tarsius, as you've pledged your case to the dragons, which caused them to kind of take a break and discuss amongst each other, mainly in Draconic, because, you know, they're the
Ooh, what kind of cheese am I hearing?
It's a lot of, and since Greyson has Comprehend Languages also cast right now, it's a lot of, Protanther, for sure, wants to make a move. He wants to take the dragons, like, if possible, and just go to the well right now and just, you know, basically lay waste to anything that they can that is related to the cult and just wipe it off the map. But that is the thing, is he wants to eradicate everything that is associated with the cult. Whereas Nimr, who is the adult bronze dragon, he's disagreeing very strongly with Protanther, as he believes that doing so would go against their nature as creatures blessed with being born good from their god Bahamut. He believes that there might be a more civilized approach, as he doesn't fault the Chromatics for siding with Tiamat, because, in his words, that's just in their nature.
Someone better stop this child. Someone better stop this child.
And Nimr does make comments here and there, saying how excited he is to be having these conversations with smaller races, because he's just so delighted in seeing these creatures run amok with free will, as they have been blessed with, you know, said free will.
Is all of these conversations happening in Draconic?
Yes.
Okay.
As Atari, they're agreeing with, they're siding with Protanther and think that it might be best to deal justice as swiftly as possible. However, they believe that it might be best to rally more forces than just the Chromatics, because they, while very proud of their abilities, believe that having the help of smaller races would essentially help in the battle against the cults. So that while the smaller ones are taking care of what's happening on the ground, they can, the Chromatics can be there in order to put a stop to Tiamat themselves when she chooses to rise. And Greyson, you kind of pick up a bit of contention between the ancient brass dragon Eleuthera and the silver dragon Otari, as while Otari is formulating this plan, Eleuthera just kind of like slyly slides in. So just if you're willing to work with the smaller races, does that include the dwarves? Or are you still upset? As it's, you know, for the most part that when the dragons, when the dragons, and Patience, this is also something you pick up on. When the dragons address all of you, non-draconic creatures, it looks like they do their best to emulate what looks like human emotion on their face, to like kind of communicate in a way that they know you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas when they're communicating with each other, it's a lot less of expression and more of body language.
Which is something, because she was used to
As
seeing
when
that.
Eleuthera gives mention of the dwarves, Otari immediately, like, a whole body just kind of, like, locks up as their claws just, like, dig into the stone. Like, this, like, their claws literally, like, digging into the solid stone. Like, it's practically soil to them. As,
Greyson conjures a thing of tea and sips it as he listens.
Yeah. As the silver dragon's tail just kind of like lashes like very low to the ground as their fins, their ear fins just kind of twitch ever so slightly. As Otari, just very quietly, as a dragon can, I will side with the dwarves when they apologize for what they've done. But seeing as how I doubt they will do that anytime soon, I don't mind leaving them behind. Such barbaric practices could perhaps be left in the past with the cult.
Patient's sitting there just like tossing a pebble up and down, just being, just listening, just being like, and Draconic, what the dwarves do to you?
Are you saying that out loud to them?
In Draconic.
The silver dragon their head kind of whips around very quickly, but when they see that it's you, a very small, tiny thing, they kind of give a look. They give an appearance of neutrality,
mm-hmm.
as they just kind of regard you very curiously.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a dwarf. Why does it concern you?
I'm just nosy.
Roll me a persuasion, Patience.
Ooh, yay. Dirty 20.
Okay. Otari kind of like snakes around towards where you and Greyson stand, as they kind of like rest themselves on their kind of like rest themselves in like a lying position. And you kind of notice as they now sit very closely to you that their back left leg is a stump, more or less. And there's like several scars going along up their body. As this dragon, while younger than the ancients, looks like they've seen some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As Otari kind of smiles politely, kind of folding their paws one over the other. Well, nosy ones, as they regard both you, Patience, and Greyson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm what you call, how do you smaller ones say it? Not a fan of dwarven culture due to their customs. Which, Greyson and Patience, roll me a history.
What the hell is that?
Hmm?
No, I heard like a ding ding.
It's Discord.
23.
12.
Alright, I mean, this makes sense, Patience, since you're very young. Shervithia wouldn't have shared this information with you either.
No.
Greyson, so you, in your, in your like first couple semesters at school when you were doing general studies, you learned of a ancient custom amongst the dwarves called the Dragon Moot, where these dwarves would go out in hunting parties to hunt down dragons for trophies. In a way, it's like the gentleman's game of going fox hunting, but it's dwarves with dragons.
That's awful.
It is. It's very awful.
That's concerning.
Well, when Patience sees like the stump, just being like, "I'm sorry that happened to you," and I've only ever.
It's fine. I'm still alive. My niece, however, is not.
She's just gonna kind of. I mean, if it's any consultation, I've only ever met one dwarf, and that was a dwarf that was with the cult. I don't care for them either.
Are you telling me that the dwarves are siding with the cult?
No, just one that I know of. They were a worm speaker.
They kind of like, the ears twitch in interest. I see.
I don't know much more than that. Just they were around when I got kidnapped.
Yes, well, I'm rather troubled by this. However, Eleuthera wants us to work with the Human Council in Waterdeep, but Eleuthera is also an old softy who is friends with one of the council members. I, however, am not friends with the council members. In fact, I hear there's one specific dwarf on the council that I don't like. Patience, you've only been to one meeting, so you wouldn't know them. Greyson, you know that there is a dwarven ambassador on the council who goes by the name of Brawn Anvil. And yes.
I was gonna say he'll just kind of like mention that name.
As you do, you hear this like kind of like dry hiss just kind of like rise from their throat. They don't open their mouth or bare their teeth or anything, but you just hear that just noise. They're the ones that shot my niece down and wear her scales like armor. I could never bring myself to disrespect her death by siding with someone like that.
Patience just nodding like, no, I can understand that entirely.
I understand that a lot of you smaller ones are advancing past old barbaric customs, but some of you still cling to them, as if it's your very life essence itself. And unfortunately, it's those ancient traditions that harm some of us still. And, maybe the best answer is to leave those that still cling to them behind. I feel like it's not harming anything good.
What do you mean by that?
I'm just saying, I would be very pleased if I had that dwarven ambassador's head. I'd be a lot more willing to work with the council.
Patience is just kind of like nodding and then looks over at Greyson, just kind of like, is that possible? She's not voicing it, but just like, is that possible?
His relationship with this dwarf.
So you've only met them a couple of times. They only, he's a very nice guy. Like, he's very, he's, as many dwarfs tend to be, very, very bawdy, very, enthusiastic, very, very polite, very nice. Like, you've never had a problem with him. He's always, openly listening. He's even, helped you out, with your like all the paperwork that you've had to cover for your mother and all that stuff.
Does family have any dirt on him?
Roll me history.
$25. I didn't do math, sorry.
Math is hard.
Math is hard.
As far as you can tell, he's not technically nobility. He was elected to be ambassador by some dwarven council in some city that you don't care to remember the name of. Because there's a lot of cities and a lot of places that you have to remember, so you're very selective in which ones you think are important. So, he's not anybody of notable standing. However, he is considered a very valued member of the community. And if you do recall, you have seen him wearing his armor in ceremonious occasions, and it's very nice, very well crafted. He's very proud of it.
Would I know if it's this specific individual that did it, or could it be like a lineage thing? Like, was that handed down to him at all, do you think? Like, how old is he? Like, would I know?
He would probably be up there in age, probably like close to like... I mean, probably middle age, if anything. So, like, maybe like 300.
Okay, so he definitely... Ah, well.
And, you know, Otari didn't quite say when this happened. Just that the name Bromwell. Yeah.
He'll ask when it happened. He just wants to make sure the dates will line up.
To think back on that day, the pain feels as if it was yesterday. That's all they say.
Very helpful.
You're asking a dragon for the time. They don't carry a watch.
Doesn't have pockets.
Forgot to polymorph some pockets, sorry. So. It could have been 10 years ago, 100 years ago, 500 years ago. But the pain still resides deeply within me. Which, Greyson, roll me an insight, I'll say. I'll give you that.
Oh. $15.
Looking at the stump, you can definitely see that these scars are not fresh.
Okay.
They've definitely healed over some time. So the potential for it to maybe have been ages ago could be true, but you're not quite sure exactly, you know, where that puts Ambassador Braun Anvil on that map.
Cordelia's gonna raise her hand because she's a polite little girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's just gonna go like that.
All right.
Kind of shy-ish because she's very tiny.
Okay. The silver dragon will regard you with a nod. Yes.
Just as a little question, does the Braun? What was the name? Braun
Anvil.
The
like,
name,
you know, like Brawny.
Yeah, that name Braun Anvil, is it the last name or is it the full name that you're thinking of, or it's just the family name that you're familiar with? For killing your niece.
You smaller races always fascinate me. You mean you have more than one name?
Yes. It could be an ancestor of him and not him himself who killed your niece.
Well, either way, ancestor, not ancestor. Sounds to me like the whole tree could be uprooted for all I care.
Wait,
Now that's not fair.
Would we be
Greyson just kind of pipes in.
actually able to understand it? Or were they talking in Draconic?
Oh, so they would have been talking in common when they were addressing Patience and Greyson.
Okay, cool. I know half of the story. Got it.
Would Hawk be close enough to have heard that?
I would say you kind of would have been meandering between both groups, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
He'll just chime in and just say, I am not responsible for what my mother does, and I'm not responsible for what my grandfather's done. I'm not responsible for what my father's done, so uprooting the whole tree is not really good of an excuse.
Yeah, Hawk would kind of echo that and be like, we're not our parents.
Thank God.
Well, if your tree produces rotten fruit, why not just take the whole thing down? Is that not how that works?
No.
Because while it can only take one bad apple to, put a bad taste in people's mouths, you can't immediately decide that an entire family of people are bad just because one of them sucks.
Or a few. My children are delights, but the rest of my family, no, not so much.
Well then, what is your suggestion then? What do you think would appease my desire for this Brawn Anvil's death? To avenge my niece? What could possibly be done?
Do you want the armor?
Sorry, what was that, Jesus?
To have a conversation?
I'm not having conversations.
Then you're not getting peace with your niece. Is your pride more important than her?
They don't respond to that, as they look to Greyson,
I'm just saying.
I believe the armor would be... It belongs with me. That is her, and she doesn't deserve to be worn as decoration for somebody who doesn't know who she was.
That is fully acceptable of what you are asking.
Yep.
A death of killing someone just for vengeance is not really... Oh, the thought slipped my head.
Your snakes just start kind of like whispering in your ear to help.
Too much talking.
It's like shh.
Killing someone doesn't really avenge the fallen or your loved ones. It just brings more death. And then if you kill this Brawn Anvil, his family will then kill more of your dragons, and then more of your dragons will kill more of the dwarven, and the killing will never end.
Yes, I believe the point of this council was to avoid killing. Or at least the unnecessary ones.
Tarsius is gonna kick a little bit of stone by his coo and be like, dude, told you conversation.
Said what I said.
That's why he was kicked out of Gentleman School. Too sassy. Probably got from his sister.
God, such a bad influence on him. So, as Otari just kind of contemplates, just kind of like clicking their claws together. All right, I'll amuse you. I want the armor, and I want an apology from this Brawn Anvil. I want him to look me in the eye and to regret taking my niece from me.
You want us to bring him here? Well, what about a nicely worded letter? Will that work?
I want to look him in the eye.
Okay, we're bringing him here then. Great.
Or just arrange a meeting. Doesn't have to be here precisely. I don't exactly... You think I live on this disgusting rock?
If we bring them to you, and you get your apology in that armor, can we have your word that you won't harm? As long as their apology is sincere, of course. But if we're going to bring them, can we have your word that you're not going to do anything other than what has been agreed to?
So they just think for a moment. As Hawk, you talk very strongly in front of this, like, very, very huge dragon. And for a moment, you're just like, oh, maybe I should
shut the up.
Maybe I shouldn't use such strong tones. But they just kind of look between all of you. And you just kind of like see like the whiskers on their snout just twitch a bit. As they dip their head, just, all right, I'll amuse this. You speak with this brawn anvil. Tell him that I wish to meet. Don't tell him who, but tell him that someone wants to seek audience with him. I'll find my way to him.
Cool.
And as a token of reassurance, I will let you know when it's time for the meeting, so that you can see that I am keeping my word.
How can we send word to you about him agreeing for a meeting?
As as you say that, you notice, like probably for the first time since you've been up here, that you hear what sounds like birds, as a small little sparrow just kind of like flits between you and like lands on one of their claws, as they kind of like tilt their head at it, and then they look at you. Oh no, I have ways.
I knew it. They're not really birds.
Yeah, they're drones.
They're drones who watch over us.
Birds aren't real. This campaign's actually been my long-running conspiracy theory that birds do.
Checks out.
As they kind of like wave their claws, and the birds kind of like fly off again. We have ways of knowing what's going on around here. We have eyes in places that you do not expect. That's how we gather our information while we, sit up in the clouds and ignore all of you, as you said.
Yep.
Then you have information of where the dragon masks are.
We've tried.
Would you have that?
The white one's up north somewhere.
The white one is in the north. I've lost several birds looking for those.
Oh.
They were perhaps my best. They're perhaps the best of my worms, actually.
Hearing this, Patience is gonna get kind of focus more, and it's like, so do you know anything about anything that's going on in the north?
I know that that's where the Drakhorn lies.
What is that exactly?
It's an ancient relic that calls to us. Whoever uses it summons dragons from... Every dragon in the realm can hear it. And we usually feel compelled to follow it. Some of us are strong enough to resist it. However, the younger ones heed its call.
Is it a bad thing?
It can be. For instance, a lot of dragons have been disappearing in the north. Both chromatic and metallic.
Apparently my that also disappeared in the north somewhere.
And he perhaps was looking for the Drakhorn because that's the only thing that's there. Well, now there isn't. It's now populated by a very, very deadly white dragon. He goes by Arothator. He is the self-proclaimed White Death. But I'm sure there's other dragons that would be insulted that he took the title. But we had speculation that it was the cult that was summoning these dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't know if that's true. Because if they are, I have this feeling that they're calling out to the younger dragons and taking them in for their own desires. Which, if they amass an army of chromatics, that could prove troubling for all of you.
Patience is just kind of like really quiet and just being like, I know that a lot of dragons usually stay in hiding and whatnot, but have there been sightings for a particular ancient red?
There have been here and there, but he's never in one place for too long.
Okay.
Though I will say, he was last sighted around the high forests some weeks ago.
But does that kind of correlate to where we were? Like the time when we were?
Technically no, since it's only been a few days for you.
Okay.
This has been like weeks. Like, say like maybe 4 or so weeks.
Okay.
As by this point, Janva kind of like slides her way in to the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As Spud kind of like plods along next to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, so yeah, there's kind of a plan. It's not the best plan right now, but we've been talking with, some of the other dragons, and they think it's best if we find the Drakhorn and remove it from its location and bring it back to them so that they can find a better spot for it.
I mean, that sounds like a good idea.
And I would love to, but it's kind of job that takes more than one person, and I'm kind of working a little solo right now. Maybe max of a 2-person team. And these dragons have other things they think are more important, so...
Gonna keep my opinion to myself.
That's best you do
Patience
that.
is saying that out loud.
It's best you do that.
Okay.
So what I'm reading in from this is that you need someone to do this, but no one here is going to do it, so you're looking at the little ones to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole pecking order thing, you see.
Patience just shrugging like, I mean...
I wasn't a parrot where I was part chicken. Cool.
And in terms of dragons, they honestly can't tell us apart sometimes. It's in their eyes, there's the dragons, and then there's the not dragons.
What does the Drakhorn do?
It's a call to the dragons. It summons them.
What does it look like?
Literally a horn?
It's literally a horn. It's literally a giant. It's actually this thing right here.
Oh, it goes boo. Cool.
So as John would describe the image that you see there, it's a large horn that's usually sits atop a precipice somewhere, and somebody blows into it, and a dragon appears.
And how are we supposed to move said? Like, I can get a little buffer, but if it's as big as what you're saying it is, it sounds like it's going to be awfully difficult to move.
No, we can.
Patient's just standing there, just like, I have enlarge and reduce. Duh.
That will.
There you go. We can move it
for about a minute.
Yeah, out of curiosity, I have a question. When
Sure.
I make myself bigger, can patience make me even
Yes.
bigger?
Yes.
Oh.
Technically, yes. You can
get
stack it.
to a colossal creature. There is a build for that. You become a kaiju.
As Greyson, you have this 8-year-old talking about magic like she's the professional of all magic.
He's just going to keep his mouth shut.
I'm going to burst this child's bubble. Try it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Cordelia's gonna say it was like, if I'm not mistaken, that spell only lasts for a minute or so.
I can run really fast in a minute.
Yeah.
She kind of like sighs a bit, but it's kind of like there's a fondness to it that you see, Greyson. She just kind of like looks at you and it's just like, I'm feeling nostalgic.
There is a literal cult with my mother. She's a terrible person. They're going to bring back Tiamat, and we're up here slinging spells at each other with a bunch of dragons who don't give a crap.
Yes. Oh,
You must
also,
be fun at parties.
we need to get an apology.
Your mom sounds like a terrible person.
She is. Trust me, I could talk about her for days about the things she's done.
So,
So, as John would just kind of like scratches like the shaved side of her head. Well, if you're all up to it, I mean, it sounds like you were already formulating a plan to retrieve this horn. Is that what you're doing?
Do we get a carriage or a cart?
Well,
How heavy is it?
considering that the location of the horn is in the Sea of Moving Ice, I think you're going to need a ship.
Ooh. Okay.
So, and Jonva like tries her best not to look at you, Greyson, when she says that.
I was like, oh, well, I'm going to look immediately at Tarsius. Maybe we can ask Father to lend us one of his ships.
Yeah, we can do that.
John was just kind of like, yeah, you might need like a really big ship for this. I mean, it's maybe like 12-ish to 15 feet long.
Cordelia's gonna be like a little bit smug about it. Chadington.
Oh, God. You just hear Grayson just groan so loud. Oh, no.
Cordelia's a little bit proud of that last name because she didn't have a last name before. So.
Oh, God. If we have his boat. Oh, God.
Yup.
Are you worried he wouldn't let you live it down?
What? What are you talking about?
Say that again.
Are you worried he wouldn't let you live it down? This child is sniffing out some insecurity and she's latching onto it like a fucking leech.
Oh, no.
Oh, there was nothing to live down. I just hate the man.
Yeah, but you sound like it really hurt the idea of having to rely on him.
Oh, because he's annoying. Have you met the man?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're in for a treat then.
I'm gonna.
But it
I'm gonna
sounds
look at,
like it really pains you at the idea of him helping.
Doesn't pain me at the idea. I just don't want to have to speak with him.
I'm gonna look at Greyson when he said he's annoying, kind of like that. It was like, well, he is. He is quite nice, to be honest, but he can be quite annoying.
Trust me. We went to school together. It's a long story.
They're all mothers.
I don't want to see him as when he was young.
Just be like,
I'm grateful for him,
You want to
but
study together and study hard. Chums
So common and study hall.
in the study hall. My good chum.
God.
So,
I have an idea. Never mind.
oh god.
are you playing Chadington in the Sea of Thieves? Or the pirate adventure?
You would be in his team.
Would be.
Oh,
So,
DM, I sent you something that's an awful idea, but it was funny.
okay. Oh, please. This Janva kind of like leans over to you, Greyson. I mean, you can either take Chadington's ship, or do you know any other ships that are also very big and with obnoxious captains?
Nope. But I'm clueless to what you're saying
Yeah.
and what you're referring to. With my limited knowledge, nope.
This would like if I called him very much.
Stares over.
I think this wouldn't like it if you just decided to go sailing on another boat without him.
Ooh.
Yeah, I could see how it could be a slight to get on another man's ship when your man has one.
Are you sliding into another man's ship? Damn.
Is it bigger than the other one? Is that what the issue is here? Like,
Is it called a mystique?
It's probably bigger.
All the inside jokes. Viewers, all the inside jokes.
oh no! I mean,
It's probably bigger than the port, but probably not the starboard. The starboard is probably bigger. than the other ship.
you can almost hear this very Amadeus like laughter in the back of your head, Greyson, as you just hear very mockingly, just in your mind, as long as it's bigger than yours.
Listen, we're not calling him. I'll ask Dis if we can borrow his ship.
So wait, we have options for 3 different ships?
Jonathan just kind of smiles like you should ask Greyson about that third option.
Oh, we're gonna have plenty of time.
He
So,
can't leave the ship.
So we're gonna have a fleet.
Each
Is that
one.
what's happening?
We'll divide into 3 teams. Each one gets a ship.
Yeah. As Jamal eventually steps up to y'all and just like, I think these guys are going to be here longer than I anticipated. If you want, I could fly you back to Waterdeep, and I'll let you know when they decide to re-adjourn.
Okay.
I
do have a question, though. Are we going to get an apology first, or are we heading to get the horn first?
Well, you talked to Otari, didn't you? It's like, by this point, the Silver Dragon would have gotten up and just, like, went back to meander and lounge somewhere else. As for the most part, most of them seem to be just, like, talking amongst each other, like it's just a casual Sunday brunch.
Hey girl, how's it going?
Some of them holding mimosas, like...
How's it going, bitch?
The giants at this point look completely bored, as Blagothkus still kind of, like, sits there very determined to broker a truce.
You gotta be my friend. You're gonna fucking
You're gonna
like
be my
it.
friend. You're gonna like it, damn it. But I'll only do it within your boundaries and what you're comfortable with. As long as it takes As Jamal's just like, yeah, so, I mean, I know that the guy's in Waterdeep, so if you want to talk to him, you can. And he's going to look to you, Greyson. I got somebody that wants to talk to you, actually.
Okay, fine. Let's go.
And he leads you over to the ancient copper dragon. As she stands there, she like gives you a nod, and she'll just, if you don't mind, I'll to make this conversation feel more one-on-one, I'll assume a more comfortable form, if you'd like.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
As her image just kind of like blurs, and she like changes down into still very tall, like a couple inches taller than you, I would say, Greyson. Very broad-shouldered, very about like a woman in her 60s or 70s, dark, kind of like dark brown hair that's been kind of like braided back very intricately, but like there's like streaks of gray at the temples and stuff. Very rich copper skin, as she looks to be wearing like, it's obviously way too cold for like silks, but she's wearing like silken garb, as it's arranged in a very like noble fashion of like the more mountainous regions. As she just kind of like smiles at you, and you see like these like freckles of copper scales, like kind of like at her cheeks leading up into her temples, and parts of her hair are actually braided up around a set of like these curved horns. So, I did say that I knew your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Gregor, as she'll say, very familiarly. He was the one who took something from me. And while I'm willing to work, I'm doing the best I can to expedite this council meeting, because I know those that keep to themselves, they have very poor social skills. They can never make an agreement on anything. They usually don't see what I see in, humans like you. And she'll just kind of like take her finger, like, which has like these dark claws, and just like kind of like tap the tip of your nose.
Oh.
It's just, little creatures like you. They don't see what I see, as I'm a little more familiar. I like to walk amongst you as one of you, and just enjoy what you call day-to-day living. It was actually my one of my younger ones that told me about you, and she'll kind of like gesture over to Jamal, who's over with y'all's group. I do believe that we can succeed if we manage to have, a secure alliance with not only just the dragons and the giants, but with humankind, dwarvenkind, elvenkind. If we all just find a way to, work together for just as long as we need to, it could work.
I would think having a common enemy would be enough.
You would think, but for some reason, everybody seems to keep having little problems get in front of the bigger picture.
Oh, like the whole, go and get this armor for me.
Yes, so you spoke with Otari.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in perspective for you. It does seem like a silly thing, doesn't it? But how would you feel if you were in Otari's position and it was one of your children.
I've had that happen.
So you understand.
I do.
Right, so I'm not going to bother you with a little silly, quest for my own benefit. I'm offering you something to your own benefit, since I guess you could say I owe him a favor.
Oh?
Even though I've given him several.
What did he take of yours?
He stole a sword from my collection.
Damn, the cult has that now, right?
Roll me a history.
Because I thought they stole the sword from Greyson and like beat the crap out of him for it. I thought.
Okay.
It's
That's
been
right.
A long time.
It has been a while. It has been a while since we discussed that. But yeah, that is correct. You know for a fact
You got a
that
15.
sword. 15. Okay. Yeah. So you do remember your grandfather's sword. You almost can still feel the bruises.
Yeah. It was stolen. He was jumped for the sword.
Yep. He was jumped for it. Almost killed for it.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, that situation puts you in some very capable hands. Some very large hands. So. Yes, there was a sword of mine that your grandfather snuck out from under my nose. While I was, used to our relationship being one of a more casual note, I would say I was a little insulted.
Mm.
But he's dead now, and I'm still here, so I suppose the insult can die with him. But that sword that he took from me is called the Dragon Slayer.
Why on earth would you have that sword?
So that I can make sure that nobody uses it against a dragon. I don't know, why do you keep your spellbook under lock and key away from your children?
Because my kids like to read spells, and they think it's funny when they learn a gate spell at the age of 8.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Jamal did tell me that story. I am sorry for what happened to him. Your family deserves better than what it's gotten. But if you manage to find that sword, use it in good faith. You can return it if you like, but I'd rather it go somewhere where it could be useful to strengthen our cause.
With all due respect, my family's a bit shit. I intend to fix that, but let's not say not what it is.
Look, I didn't like your grandfather for his personality.
Fair. But
He
still.
impressed me.
That's what we do.
Yeah, so you'll impress us again. But I believe you have other matters to attend to. I just wanted to give you that little bit of information. Just know that not all of us are as detached as you think we are. And she'll just kind of bow her head to you.
We're the same.
Yeah. Thank you for hearing me out. And she'll kind of just like wander off to go, just kind of stand and like people watch for the most part.
Greyson will stop for a minute and turn around. There's no bastards running around, are there?
None that come from me.
Fair point, just wanted to check.
What does that mean?
Means there might be a dragonborn somewhere in this world. So, but that's just overcomplicating that family tree.
We don't need. We already made the family tree ones.
There's too many branches. There's too many branches. So,
What's like 10 more? It's fine.
right. Let's add another 15, 20.
So big.
Well, if you include their uncle, that adds a lot.
Yeah. We didn't even want to get into this side of the family, so we just kind of left it. We're like, that's a mess. We're gonna just, yeah. But that does give y'all another uncle, so hey. Anyway. As you kind of make your way back to your group, Jamal will pretty much just kind of look at all of you, just like, well, I can get you back as quick as I can. Let's try to limit rest stops.
Okay. Only people.
Agreed. So long as you're okay with that.
I would prefer to not land somewhere that disturbs anything else, so I'm gonna try to get us there as quickly as we can.
That's fair.
Just prepare for a long trip.
Okay, let me get my bottle ready.
All right. So, as you get your necessary things prepared for a long trip, your neck pillows, blankets, get your headphones. Okay, all cell phones all charged.
This is gonna kill my back.
Absolutely. As you all board Jamal and say goodbye to the Dragon Council, Wiggloff and Hulda will kind of like, before Jamal takes off, they'll stop by you, Hawk, and just say, the next time you return, we would like to talk a little more about your studies.
I would like that very much.
We may know of, we were speaking with King Blagothkis, and he may know of someone that's, fuck, I forgot his name. Jesus. Help. Where is he? Joe Cole. There he is. King Blagothkis might know of somebody that Joe Cole knows that is a hill giant that studies hill giant runes, if you're looking to learn.
I absolutely am.
Then we have our next topic of conversation the next time we meet.
I greatly look forward to it.
Kind of like give you a bow, and then they will depart as Jamal takes off, flying a little faster as you all grip on for dear life. As a 2-day journey kind of turns into a very quick overnight trip. As you all kind of land outside the gates, you kind of like land like a couple miles out from Waterdeep as Jamal shape changes back and just kind of, y'all can go ahead. I'm gonna need a minute. I'm gonna just sit here.
Thank you.
As you all return to Waterdeep, and by this point it'll be like I'll say like 9, almost 10 o'clock at night. So you kind of like shuffle your way back, get the feeling back in your legs. As where are we heading?
I guess towards where Lord Greyson knows this is, to get El Shippo.
All right, so heading toward the little Tataric Chateau. So you all kind of like make your way to Greyson's like apartment, and when I say apartment, that's just
It's a townhouse.
it's a little townhouse. He calls it an apartment, but when you look at it, you're like, that's a whole ass house.
God.
An apartment, he says. Pretty sure
Yeah,
five families could live in this.
This is my 6-room apartment. It's smaller than my other house.
This isn't the main estate.
God.
Because, like, I grew up in a cottage that had 2 bedrooms.
What about me and Tarsius? How do we feel about this one?
I mean, Greyson's right. It is pretty small. Like, but you know that this is like a little city, like a city house, which it's like
the New York like style like apartments that are super expensive, but they're like
it's like it's
small.
like upwards of like several million gold, but it's very nice. Every square inch is definitely paid for, with some modifications to like the doorways. As Greyson, you let yourself and your new companions into your home. Oh boy. You'll find Dis sitting in kind of the sitting area with Xavier, as he just kind of like looks up like, oh, that was quick. Would you so how'd it go?
Nothing really important was said. Just a lot of nonsense talking.
Could have been a letter kind of shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Fucking hate that.
Yes. Darling, question.
What? Xavier's just like, I'm gonna go make tea. Does anybody want tea? Me. Yeah, okay, so let's go into the kitchen to make tea.
Don't spill it.
We need a ship. And I don't want to bother you with it, but we do have 2 other options in case you don't want to do it. But I know you're not going to like either of those, so...
She just kind of like inhales.
Can we borrow the ship? If not, I can always call someone, but I know you don't like them.
You're not calling him.
Okay.
Don't you fucking dare.
I won't. I don't want to.
You know that if I see him again, I will fucking kill him.
And you'll be doing everyone a favor. I don't see the problem. Then we'll have a second ship.
We talked about. You said you were gonna buy a second ship.
I know, I did.
Okay, where are we going?
He just kind of turns around. Where are we going?
North.
Iceland.
Hold
on, I wrote it down. It's the sea of moving ice.
There you go.
Oh, there. Yeah. Cold. Oh, ew.
Just kind of like looks at you and like he like uses his tail to like slap your leg. Just like, why the fuck are you complaining?
The cold.
No, you say you don't like the cold, but you know it's an excuse.
Listen, the only reason I am not totally on board with taking your ship is because then we'll have to take the children. And I don't want to put them in that kind of danger.
You don't have to take the kids. We can just leave them here. You have your sister here.
I could dump them off with her, you're right.
I mean, you can... I don't know where the fuck your dad is, but we can call him too.
True.
When's the last time you've heard from him, by the way?
Oh, from him? Not.
It's been about
a long time.
About 2 months.
Don't really keep in contact. I mean, I could message him real fast, I suppose.
It's like 10 o'clock at night. Do you think he's gonna answer?
Oh, absolutely he will. He does all his work at night.
I mean, that's your call.
Oh yeah, he'll just go and do it. Message bell. Daddy!
Okay.
Father, daddy.
Daddy! Okay, what is so daddy? Is that all you're saying?
Where are you? Are you busy? Need a babysitter to watch the kids. Gonna go kill mom.
That's
That's a good message.
Okay. As you send your message out, and it takes a bit. As you get back, do you have any fucking idea what time it is? And of course.
Excellent. Yes, my father's on board.
Great, how soon can he get here?
He'll probably show up in a few hours in the morning, probably.
Sure. Or wait, are we leaving in the morning? Like when is this happening?
He's gonna turn around to the party. When do we want to go?
Tomorrow? The world's ending? Soon?
yeah.
This just kind of like looks at Tarsius, just like, do you have any fucking idea how long it takes to prep a ship for travel to this fucking sea of moving ice?
Yes,
We could just
it
pay
will take
someone to
about
do that.
3 days,
What?
depending on the man labor.
He's gonna look at you, Greyson. Is he right?
I mean,
You're the one that does the paperwork.
technically, yes, we'll have to get all the paperwork signed. We'll have to get stocked for our adventure there. We'll have to get a crew, probably, unless we all do it ourselves. But that doesn't sound very fun. I don't want to do any of that.
Just like, I think we're gonna need more people.
Cool. We'll have to get the crew again.
I think Boone's in town.
I guess it'll take a couple days.
I think that fishy fucker's hanging around somewhere.
Fishy.
It's an endearing nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Bestest of friends.
Best friends. They love each other.
They love each other so much.
Yeah, Tarsius is right. It'll probably take about 3 days.
3 days. All right.
Two and a half at max if I throw enough money at it.
I mean, it's your money.
Our money.
Yeah, whatever. Sure. Yeah, I do what you do best, Mr. Quartermaster.
I guess. Would that dwarf guy be here?
Which dwarf guy?
The one who has the dragon scale now.
You know that he has been on the council.
Okay.
Whether he's in town, that's something you would have to check.
Oh, I could. While the ship's getting ready, we can go and see if he's here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Kill 2 dwarven ships with 1 dwarven ship.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so guess you have a plan.
Yeah, let's call it that.
Yeah, let's call it that. I'm going to bed. And he's gonna just like get up. Your sister's putting the kids to sleep, so you know.
Oh, good. I can let her know what's going on too.
Okay. So as Dis will just like kind of like get up, and he'll just like kind of like give you all like a half good night, whatever. Just like make you sleep on the couch. Sleep on the couch for all I fucking care. Whatever. Good night. As he'll go to bed, and you all essentially have been invited to stay in the apartment, as there's more than enough room.
I know. Wait, the kids are there?
Kids are there, but they are just did say they are asleep.
Common courtesy. The fuck is that? Patience is sneaking off to find Sybil's room.
Roll me an investigation. Sir, those are my dice.
He's like, but I need them.
Ask him how much he cares.
These are my dice.
You said investigation?
Yes.
That's a 13.
I will say you kind of like run up and down the hall and you're like, you have no idea which way to go.
Fuck.
You just kind of like end up back in the living room. And by that point, Xavier comes in with like a tray of tea and like some biscuits and, you know, food. And then you realize, oh, I am hungry.
Yeah.
It's been a very long day.
Shit.
And you've been surviving on trail rations. And when you see
biscuit in mouth like chipmunk.
Yep. As you become distracted by food, just shove food in. As everybody settles down for tea, rooms will eventually be arranged. As Greyson, you said you were going to go talk to your sister?
Yes.
Okay. So, walking down the hall, you stop by Phoebus's room first. You see that the door is open a crack. And you see your little boy asleep in bed as you see what looks to be your sister kind of like sitting on the bed, kind of like stroking his hair and singing like softly to him. And just as you're about to enter the room to call her attention, the door adjacent opens and you see Gala step out.
Oh.
And she closes the door behind her and she's just like, you're back. I just put Sybil to bed. Is everything okay?
He's gonna grab her and just show her Phoebe's room.
As you do, you turn back around to open the door, and the figure is gone.
Oh, God.
Phoebus asleep in bed.
Oh, I do not like that. Okay, we're gonna go. Actually, if he has anything. Does he have anything that can help with that? He's gonna cast Dispel Magic just in case.
Okay. You cast Dispel Magic, and nothing happens. The room seems the same.
Oh, I don't like that.
Roll me a perception, Greyson.
17.
You look around, you cast Dispel Magic, and you're just like looking around for any traces of like any kind of spell work that could have been happening. Nothing happens, but you can't help but like look towards the window and you see that it is open.
Grayson's gonna I'm trying to think of what he would do. Grayson's gonna go in there and grab Phoebe.
Okay. So you grab him and he stirs awake as you grab him in your arms. He's just like, your daddy, you're back. He's very sleepy.
Shush. And he's gonna close the window and immediately leave the room, close it behind him, and grab Gala and just be like,
what the fuck is going on?
There was someone in his room.
She's very... Are you sure?
Yes, I saw it. The window was open. There was someone in his room. I thought it was you. Wasn't you?
It was... You thought it was me?
Yes. I thought it was you.
So you're saying they looked like me?
Yeah.
Which I'll say, Greyson, your assumption that it was your sister came from the fact that there was no light in the room, and just like the bare light of the hallway kind of gave the shape of general features that it could have been your sister, but now that you're thinking back on it, you didn't quite clearly see your sister.
It was somebody.
What?
It was somebody.
It was you. You did this.
Okay. Do you want me to get Sybil?
Yes. We are leaving now.
All right. And she'll go and she'll grab Sybil, who is very angry that she was disturbed from her sleep, but not really. And she's just like, hell yeah, more stay up late time. So you go.
Really can't.
You fucking asshole. As you go, she grabs Sybil. You all go back into the living room, and you all see Greyson looking very panicked.
Grayson's actually before he goes downstairs, he's gonna message his dad and be like, "Dad, we're coming over. Emergency."
Now? Oh god.
Yes. And he'll go and like walk over to just slap him in the face, and be like, "Let's
Oh,
go."
oh, you have the kid. Okay, never mind. All right, sure.
God.
Not like that. He'll explain what he saw, and he's like, "We're going to my dad's right now."
Okay, and they all kind of like pick up, and when they enter the living room, you see like the family is like packed and ready to go. As Zevie's just like very hesitantly, "What's going on?"
We need to leave. We need to go to your grandfather's house, stay the night there. I'm going to either tonight or sometime early tomorrow go to the docks and get that finalized. We need to leave now.
Why? What's happening?
I don't think we're alone here. It's not safe here.
Oh, okay.
I'll explain it to you later.
As the more vague you are, the more nervous he's kind of getting, as he just kind of like holds his tail in his hand and just kind of like wrings it in between his hands. Just like, okay, sure, yeah. Is this like is this a cult-related thing?
It might be.
Just kind of takes a deep breath, like, okay, all right. And he'll just look at all of you, just like, do you guys want to come over to my grandfather's place instead? Sorry for the inconvenience.
No, it's fine.
You?
Sure.
Okay. So you all kind of pick up and walk a couple blocks over to a slightly larger apartment.
Really quick. It was Xavier that was
What?
nervous?
Yes.
Okay.
You get this general, like, you don't need an insight check to know that this kid is like struggling to keep it together. As he looks like he is on the cusp of a panic attack.
As they would be walking over, Patience is going to be kind of like looking at Xavier, and then she's going to hold out a hand to him.
He will kind of like reach over and take it, and you feel like there's like a slight tremor in his hand.
Yeah, and she'll just look at him and be like, "It's okay. They scare me too."
Yeah.
When we were walking to Grandpappy Greyson.
Grandpappy.
Grandpapa.
Granddaddy.
Grandpappy.
Granddaddy.
Granddaddy.
I'm gonna kind of nudge at Tarsius into like, should we go to Uncle West and Uncle Carabal's place? The tavern?
Do we need to?
Or should we just stop in the morning to at least tell our story and what happened and where we're going so they know?
Yeah, we can tell them. Show that. I'm gonna point towards Greyson. Like, I'm sure we can just communicate with them telepathically.
I don't think Uncle West likes that very much.
Well,
Fair.
I'm gonna look.
Dis overhears y'all and is just like, if you need me to tell him anything, I can.
Oh, well, that helps. It's very ironic that he doesn't like it because he casts spells. So, just
He's selective.
He likes casting spells.
oh,
He yells every time he casts a spell. Ah!
I mean, if you want to.
As there's a moment where you see like Dis's eyes kind of like burn a little brighter, and he just says out loud, just like, "Hey, I'm taking your kids for the night." Okay, and that's it.
That's it.
See, wrote that perfectly.
So done.
And then I was like, thank you. And then I am gonna speak kind of more into a whisper to Tarsius, and Cordelia is gonna be. It's just you never really know with the adventures we're going to right now. I would like to at least say hi and goodbye.
We don't say goodbye because goodbye replies that.
Just in case.
Nope. We only
And
say.
then Cordelia
hi.
will look down, and all the snakes will look down with her.
I'm gonna grab her by the snakes and pick her up and put her on my shoulders.
You can't just grab a girl by her snakes, man.
Well,
You didn't ask.
when she's my little sister and I can bully her.
That is valid. I can
Yeah,
definitely
that's
condone.
valid.
I can definitely condone bullying a little sibling.
Put her on my
That's what they
shoulders.
deserve.
It's our right as older siblings.
That's all right. Sorry, Lynn.
And start like slightly hopping a little bit and singing the most embarrassing songs she liked when she was a little kid.
Sure, you will get a little bit of nips from the snakes, but not like hard where it'll be painful. Kind of like more annoyance than anything.
Yep, I'm using
No
that.
teeth,
As you all make your way over,
just all gums, all snake gums.
you eventually make your way over to the Chateau de Tabin, as it's definitely a much bigger apartment, a little bit more kind of. I'm gonna say like Greyson's is very refined, but like you never thought that there'd be anything more refined than Greyson's level of refined, and then you're just like, oh shit. And that's where we'll leave it for tonight. As you all go to the door, Greyson will just open it up because it's his dad's place and he can do what he wants. It's what he's owed.
Study.
So opens the door. We're here. Take the kids.
Yeah. As they were walking, he would have explained to the party what he saw as well.
Oh boy. Okay, it's good. Good that Zevi will know that.
He'll put it as delicately as he can.
I know. It's Zevier's mental state right now is just very delicate.
His mental state right now is not doing well.
Very fair. Very fair. As we'll leave it here for tonight, we'll pick it up in potentially 2 weeks. I'll leave that up to y'all since it is literally the Monday after Christmas.
Yeah,
and I know people travel and do stuff on the holidays or just generally want time to, decompress from all that. So let me know if that's what y'all want to do, and I will definitely have a game ready for y'all.
Hell
So I've got nothing better to do Monday night.
Monday nights.
So thank y'all for watching. We enjoyed having y'all with us as we talk with dragons to our heart's content and find strange women breaking into our homes. So,
Yeah.
and finding out that your grandpa did not slay the dragon like intended. So, with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.